there was like
Oh no,
an,
no, no. That is people with who took PCMB.
huh?
Bio test actually is tomorrow for us.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like there was this question paper that I received. It was they said that it was your question paper.
No, no. That was only for the people who took maths and bio together.
Hmm.
So
So
for
that was not
them, they had
from your school only, like the question paper.
it was from my school, but
Hmm.
like the people who took PCMB, they did that paper. The
Did you
people
see
who
that
took
paper? Did you see the questions in that? Such
no.
nice questions. I was like so happy. I was like, if this was, the test that came to you, like you took this test, you might have, done really well in that. Because the questions were amazing. They were like not that tough. They were like whatever I have taught you in the notes, everything was asked in the question. It was a very good question paper.
Okay.
And when is yours?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the portion?
The first two chapters, except they just removed the
Taxonomy
fungi,
today. Oh,
the no, the four types of fungus. But fungi is coming. What is fungi and all?
okay. The
Just
general thing is there, but
yeah.
the classes of fungus is not there.
Ascomycete, basidiomycete, also those things are just deleted.
Okay. But they will give it in the like half yearly and stuff, right? This will be a unit test or what?
This
It'll be a
is
unit.
yeah, this is unit test only.
Uh,
Pre midterm test or
okay.
periodic test, whatever it is.
Hmm. So what we did in the previous class, do you have any doubts in that about the
No,
virus and everything?
no,
All
no.
right. Okay. So hopefully today we'll complete this and start a new chapter. Finally, this chapter will
Oh,
end.
ma'am, can we just do a revision of
Sure, sure,
these
sure.
two words?
The virus?
No, no, like no, no, like after you finish viroids, can we just go back and like do a full recap of the chapter? Like because I have to write tomorrow exam in this only, so
Sure. Okay. So now let's talk about viroids. Now, see, viroids, they were also infectious agents. Okay, they were the infection causing agents, but they were very different from viruses. Now, how we'll see it? See, first of all, the most important thing to remember is who discovered it or who found it out or because of whom we now are studying viroids. So, T.O. Diner in the year 1971, he discovered the viroids. It was a new infectious agent and it was smaller than the virus, even smaller than the virus, and it caused the disease that is known as potato spindle tuber disease. So, obviously, this disease was caused in potato plant, but it was the potato spindle tuber disease. Now, if you remember viruses, they have a protein coat which was known as a
um RNA.
the protein coat or a protein envelope of the virus is known as it starts with a C.
Capsid.
Capsid.
Capsid. Capsid. Yeah.
Capsid. Yeah, capsid. But they do not have the protein coat, meaning viroids, they do not have the protein coat, meaning they just have the genetic material. So only RNA as genetic material is present. The RNA of viroids are of low molecular weight. So the ribonucleic acid of the viroids, they are low molecular weight RNA. RNA can be high molecular weight also, low molecular weight also. They have the low molecular weight RNA. And in their whole entire structure, we can't even call it a body, but in their whole entire structure, there is no protein code. So there is nothing surrounding their genetic material. So their genetic material is what they are. So if it is RNA, RNA is the genetic material. Here, there is no option for them to have DNA or RNA or different kinds. They just have RNA as the genetic material. And what disease they cause? They cause potato spindle tuber disease. Now, after that comes the prions. Now, they are similar in size to viruses. Now, they are not smaller than viruses. They were like abnormally folded proteins and they cause neurological diseases. Disease caused by the prions are bovine spongiform encephalopathy, that is BSE. which is most commonly known as the mad cow disease. So this disease, which is caused in the cattle, the cows, the buffaloes, the bulls. So this is caused by the prions. And then there is CR Jacob disease, CJD, and this disease is caused in humans. So it does like
Ma'am,
cause
can you
diseases.
give like a short form to memorize bovine, spongiform,
BSE,
and yeah.
BSE.
Mm,
B stands for bovine, S stands for spongiform, E stands for encephalopathy. Now see, this bovine word, see, this bovine word is coming from the cow.
okay.
Okay. Encephalopathy is, have you heard about encephalitis disease? No. You just mug it up.
Okay.
Say it 10 times, it will get inside your brain. Okay, and if you don't remember, you can like if you skip writing bovine spongiform encephalopathy and you do write mad cow disease, then also your answer will be correct.
Oh yeah,
It
okay.
won't be crossed out
No, I'm
because
just scared if
this
they
is
ask
wrong.
what is the full form of BSc. Right.
I
Right.
don't think no one is going to ask you that, but
Okay.
if they do, so be prepared for that also. And if you write as an example mad cow disease, none of the marks will be cut. Clear? So viroids and prions are clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And remember that along with why just one second. One second. Yes. Now see the virus, the viroids and the prions, they three all together do not, you can say they do not, like they are not considered as living. Okay, they are not considered, like they have been given no place in the five kingdom system. They have no home. They're just like that and they're not
No,
useful
but
at all.
I have a doubt. They have not mentioned what prions is made up of.
Yeah, no, they
Just
haven't. It's just that they are similar in size to viruses. And if there would have been some sort of, and see, okay, one more thing. See, in their case, mostly their body structure is just folded protein. Some sort of protein folded in a folded form is their body structure. So they do not have a definite structure also. Clear?
mm.
Now coming on to lichen. Now
Ma'am,
lichen,
you're telling something about those three.
oh yeah. See, yeah, I was saying that viruses, viroids, and prions, these three organisms, they are not truly organisms also. And because of their peculiar structure, meaning they like for normal organisms, they have a proper, you can say, nutrition aspect, right? They have a respiration aspect as well. They have a living aspect. These don't. They don't have any existence apart from causing diseases. Yes, they are parasites, but talk about viruses, so they are dead outside the body. So how can we consider it and like as an organism also? Because once it is dead and then the other time it is alive. So that is why these three organisms have not been given any place in any kind of kingdom, in any kind of class, nowhere. So that is why they have been mentioned separately, so that you should know that okay, these kind of organisms do exist, but there is no place to put them in. So they sadly, not sadly, but they don't have any family. Okay, no, not sadly, they cause disease. Okay, now talking about one more type. Now this lichen. Now lichen also does not have any home, no family, no kingdom,
But
nothing.
ma'am, lichen is like helpful for
Yes,
the
it is. It is indeed
environment.
very helpful and
So
everything. But
it's
hmm,
it's helping the environment. So like um it should be with something, right? Like the fungus
yeah,
or something.
yeah, it should be. But see, lichen is not one organism. You can put one organism into the group, right? You can call it a species or you can call it anything but one. Like, for example, if we discussed Basidiomycetes and in that we discussed agaricus, right? We eat that. Agaricus is the mushroom, the button mushroom, the
Yeah.
normal ones. Now, that is just one organism. So we talk about it and we put it into a group and stuff. But lichen, it is lichen itself. If you just think lichen, it is not any organism. Lichen is a symbiotic association. It is an association between two organisms. Association, or you can say relationship. So whenever a fungus is present along with an algae, then that structure together, fungus and algae together, are known as lichen. Now, where do you want to put it? Would you put it in
Okay.
fungi, or would you put it in algae, or would you put it under plantae? It's not possible, isn't it? Because this is not
No,
one
algae is
organism.
under fungi, right?
Huh? No, they come under the plant kingdom, plantae.
Sorry, plant. If they come under the
Hmm.
plants.
Yes, and
So,
fungus have their own kingdom,
oh yeah, okay,
right?
okay.
Kingdom fungi is there, and kingdom plantae is there. So lichen, where would it go? Would it be here? Will it be there? Or will it be in both? It's not possible, right? So what happens here? And also, if you think about fungus, let's just think, like, we try to put it under certain group. We try to put it under fungus. Hmm? But what are the characteristics of fungus? It is not autotrophic, right? It cannot make its own food, but lichen can, because of the
Okay.
algal component. Now, if you put it in algae, meaning kingdom plantae, so kingdom plantae, like organisms of kingdom plantae, meaning the plant kingdom, they have this property of making their own food. Again, the
Yeah.
fungus component of the lichen can't. You getting
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is why, because of this very confusing thing, we can't put it anywhere. So that is the reason why it has not got any place. When we talk about algae, we study about lichen. When we talk about fungus, then also we study about lichen. So it is discussed everywhere. It is important, and it is like doing everything that it's supposed to do, but it has not got any kingdom or class that it belongs to. So why? Because this is an association. This is a relationship. It is like when two organisms of different kingdoms are present together, such as from kingdom fungi and from kingdom plantae. So now here what happens is that now these two components, now their relationship is known as symbiotic. Why? Because both of them are beneficial to each other. It's like fungus benefits from algae, algae benefits from fungus. So both of them are living in an harmony. Now, and most of the time, the most bizarre thing is that they cannot complete their life without each other. It's that kind of symbiotic relationship. Now, what happens? The fungal component of the lichen is known as mycobiome, and the algal component of the lichen is known as phycobiome. Now, phycobiome is responsible for providing the nutrition by making food. Algae can do so because they have chlorophyll, and fungi cannot do that, so they benefit from algae from getting food. Now, algae, if you have you seen algae,
Yes.
right? Those sticky, slimy things that are found
Yeah.
on stones and stuff. Yeah. So algae, since they are so tiny and they do not have a proper body structure, so they need shelter. And
No,
fungus,
they're
they
like
are
plants. They're like spread over everywhere. They're like,
algae. Algae are
yeah,
very tiny. Most
yeah,
most
yeah.
of the algae, they are very tiny, and they do not have. They're not plants. You can, like, plants have roots, stem, and
They
leaves.
look, yeah, yeah. No, they don't. They're not plants. They're like just
Uh,
like on the stone or something. They're just covered
yeah, they're
with,
like it's like a layer of green stuff
yeah,
on it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so they do not have, they are so tiny. Now, see, don't get me wrong, some of the algae are huge. Some algae are there that are huge. When we'll talk about plant kingdom, then you'll understand. But most of them are small, so they need protection. They need shelter. So that shelter is provided by the fungus, because fungus and its fruiting bodies, they are huge, right? So it can provide shelter to algae. That is why their relationship is known as symbiotic. Symbiosis means both benefiting. Now, this association, they are like lichen is an excellent pollution indicator, meaning wherever pollution is there in the
They won't
environment, in
grow.
the soil, yeah, they won't grow there. More particularly in the polluted areas, if there is a higher concentration of sulfur dioxide, SO2, then they'll never grow. So if in any place this lichen does not grow, then it is a great indicator that okay, that place, that land or that soil is polluted. Clear?
Yeah.
So with this, we have actually completed the whole entire chapter, and these are all those organisms that are they do not have any home. So now you can note it down, and then we'll do a revision. Okay.
Ma'am, I stopped with. I finished viruses till genetic material.
In genetic material here,
Yeah,
this part is left, the single stranded, double stranded part.
yeah, plant virus. DNA will be interlinked, right? Like together.
A helical structure will be there.
Because you have written, I mean, you drew the DNA like RNA, the double.
Oh, this no, this is just showing that there are two strands present.
Okay.
You can draw it like this also, like how the DNA will be actually present like this, a
Okay.
helical structure.
Yes, ma'am, you can slow down. Ma'am, can you scroll down? Ma'am, can you scroll up? And can you scroll down?
That's it. Oh, no, no. No, that's not it.
Yes, madam.
Any doubts up until now?
No, no.
All right. Now let us revise this particular chapter. So, biological classification, in that we have seen that classification comes under the bigger branch of science, that is taxonomy. And taxonomy deals with the identification, the classification, and the nomenclature of all the organisms. I've taught this chapter so many times to so many students that, like, see, my notes have become so untidy. It's so, like, I'm getting a headache looking at my. Okay. So, talking now, see, when we classify organisms, we have some basis for their classification, right? Why am I teaching like this as if I'm teaching you for the first time? You already know all of these things. Let's just do quickly. Okay. So the three types of classification. The first one is artificial, then there is natural, and then there is phylogenetic. Artificial system of classification was given by Aristotle in 350 BC. Now he classified organisms depending upon their morphological features, or you can say external features. So when he
The
classified,
notes which you gave extra information, right? Apart from the textbook. Yeah. Okay.
why?
No, because when I read the textbook, there was nothing like 350
Mhm.
BC. There was no enema, anemia,
Yeah, yeah.
enema, all this.
I give you a little extra so that when you study extra, you land on the stuff that is there in the book. Also, NCRT is very jumbled. It's very jumbled. Like it's not clear cut language. So I simplify it step by step.
Okay.
Do you find NCRT easy? Maybe you do. Like many students don't find NCRT easy. But what is your take on that? You find it easy?
I don't know.
No?
No.
All right. Okay. So now, yeah. So depending upon that, and see, one more thing, whatever is not there in NCRT, most probably will not come in your exam. Or mostly what happens like in school, sometimes teacher sets the question paper in such a way that there is something extra in that also. So for that extra, I'm doing this. And if it doesn't come, you have the knowledge and it's great. Now, he classified organisms into two major groups, that is plants and animals. And then he classified animals depending upon whether they have the red blood cells present or not. So, in all those organisms in which the red blood cells were present, they were aneima, and those that did not have the red blood cells, that they were aneima. Now, the plants were divided into three basic groups depending upon their size. So, it was divided into trees, shrubs, and herbs. Now, the next type of classification. Now, obviously, this classification was, you can say, a stepping stone into the world of classification, but again, it was not practical because just looking at the external features, we cannot tell many things about any organism.
Yeah.
Then came natural system of classification. This was given by Bentham and Hooker, and they actually worked on it from 1862 to 1883. Now, for them, the basis of classifications were morphology, that is external appearance, anatomy, that is internal structure, Then there were cytological characters. Cytological characters means the characters of the cell, and the reproduction also they took into consideration. And when they published their classification, they published in a book which is known as Genera Plantarum. Then came phylogenetic. Even though natural system is, like, you can say it is acceptable, but there is one thing that the natural system does not talk about, and that thing is the evolutionary history. I mean, how the organism is related to its ancestors. So for that came the phylogenetic system of classification, and this was based on evolutionary history. Engler and Prantl were the ones that actually gave it. Here, phylogenetic comes from the word phylogeny, which means ancestral history. Now, these are the taxonomy.
Okay.
You don't have this written in your book? I mean,
No,
notebook?
I do. I just want to mark it in textbook also.
Okay. And then talking about the taxonomical hierarchy, even though this is from chapter 1, but we should yet again discuss it. So, the highest taxonomical hierarchy is kingdom. Then comes
Fine.
phylum for animals, and then division for plants. Then there is class, order, family, genus, and species. This is the mnemonic that I've given you that you can use to memorize it. Now, after the system of classification was given, then people started, and after that, there came the whole entire taxonomical hierarchy. Now, on the basis of that, people started making kingdoms of organisms. So initially there was two kingdom classification. This was given by Carolus Linnaeus, who is known as the father of taxonomy.
That's
Yes. And he classified two kingdoms at that time, kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae. Now see the, like, you can say the basic you can say criteria for his classification was locomotion. All those organisms that moved were plantae, sorry, animals, and that did not move were plants. Now, apart from that, then came the three kingdom classification. So one more kingdom was added, and that was given by Ernst Haeckel in the year 1866, and he added the third kingdom, that is Protista. Now, under the Protista, we have unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Unicellular, or all those organisms that are made up of one cell, and they have membrane-bound nucleus and organelles. Then came fourth kingdom, and there was the fourth kingdom classification. It was given by Copeland, and the fourth kingdom that was added was kingdom Monera, which included all the prokaryotic organisms, the bacteria. Then lastly, the five kingdom classification, the one that we study, is given by R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. These are the five kingdoms that we study now. Now, what are the criteria that we took into consideration? We take the cell structure, whether the organism is eukaryotic, prokaryotic. We take cell wall, whether cell wall is present or absent. We take nuclear membrane. Now, if the organism is eukaryotic, it will have nuclear membrane. If it is not, it won't. Then the body organization, whether it is cellular level, tissue level, organ level, or organ system level. Then there is mode of nutrition. What is, whether the organism is heterotrophic, autotrophic, what is the mode of nutrition? And we also take the phylogeny into consideration, like how is it related to the ancestors, right? Now, talking about the first kingdom, that is kingdom Monera. Now, kingdom Monera is the kingdom of bacteria. All the members mostly here are prokaryotes. Yes, prokaryotes. Now, they are simple and most abundant microorganism, and they are the most primitive. Also, this sequence starting from Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae, and kingdom, this is the, you can say, from primitive to advanced. This is the sequence. You can't write Monera first and then write Plantae. No. First kingdom, Monera, then we study about Protista, because slowly we can see evolution. That is why. Okay. Now, the first inhabitants of the earth were actually monerans. They occur everywhere. They're found in hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, and hard handful of soil. They mean they are found every single where. Now, even though their body structure is very tiny, but still they are metabolically diverse, meaning the stuff, or you can say the reactions that occur inside their body, they are very diverse. Now, looking at the characteristics of Monera, so you can find Monera in a unicellular form in which only one cell exists. Then you can find the colonial form in which many cells come together and form the colony. Then there is the filamentous form in which a filament-like structure is formed by the bacteria. Now we know that since they are prokaryotic organisms, they do not have the structures that are present inside the nucleus. So they do not have nucleolus, they do not have chromatins, and they do not have histone proteins. These structures are not present in them. And since their nucleus is not surrounded by any kind of membrane, so their DNA is scattered in the cell.
They also don't have cell wall, right?
No, they do have cell. They have cell wall.
Monera, kingdom Monera.
They
Oh,
have
okay.
cell wall. The only thing is that their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan.
Relatively.
Yes. And plant
Okay.
cell wall is made up of cellulose. The composition is different, but they do have cell wall. Now,
Okay.
their nuclear, you can say the place where their genetic material is, that structure is known as a nucleoid. That part which is responsible in the reproduction aspect. And this nucleoid contains the DNA, RNA, and all the non-histone proteins. Histone proteins are not present in them. Now, the type of DNA which is present in them is circular DNA and it is double stranded. Now, their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, and this peptidoglycan is a combination of different amino acids and sugar molecule. Now, this peptidoglycan is present as you can say as a component of the cell wall, but it is not present in archaebacteria and mycoplasma. They do not have cell wall. Rest all the monerans do. Now, talking about their nutrition, so they can be
They do not
autotrophic.
have a cell wall. They have a different cell wall, right? Archaebacteria have a different cell wall.
No, archaebacteria do not have the cell wall, and mycoplasma also do not have the cell wall. Monerans
No,
have a
they are
different cell.
different. They have a different cell wall. Archaebacteria have a different cell wall. That's why they can survive in harsh climates, right?
Yeah, but the main thing is that the Moneran cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. That makes the cell wall, which is not there in archaebacteria. That is why they
Okay,
show
okay.
peculiarity.
Okay.
Now, yeah. Now, most of the bacteria, they are heterotrophic, but some of them are autotrophic as well. And in that, they are mostly chemosynthetic because they do not have chlorophyll. They use certain inorganic substances. Now, when we want to define the bacteria, there are four different types on the basis of their shape. The coccus is a spherical shaped bacteria. The bacillus is a rod shaped bacteria, and this is the most common type. Then there is Vibrium, which is a common shape, comma shaped bacteria. And lastly, there is the Spirillum, which is a spiral shaped bacteria. Now, the DNA is naked because it is not covered by any membrane. Nuclear membrane is not there. The DNA is circular and double stranded. Nucleoid is present. Cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Cell wall is present in all monerans except archaebacteria and mycoplasma. The ribosomes are 70S type and reproduction in them is asexual
Ma'am,
mostly.
for kingdom protista, it is 80S type, right?
Ribosomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are eukaryotes.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, talking about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so they can be saprophytic, feeding on the dead and decaying. They can be symbiotic, present in a symbiotic relationship, and most of them are parasitic as well. Now, talking about the groups that are found under the kingdom Monera. So first one is archaebacteria. Now, because of the absence of cell wall, they can survive in extremities of habitat. They can survive in harsh conditions, such as the archaebacteria that survive in high salt concentration. They are known as halophytes. The ones that survive in hot springs, extremely high temperature, they are thermoacidophiles. And then there is marshy area survivors that are known as methanogens. Now, this is something again extra that these methanogens are present in the gut of the animals. such as cows and buffaloes, and they are
No, this
responsible.
is there in our NCERT.
This is there.
Yeah.
Oh, then great. And methanogens are responsible for the production of methane, which is a very, you can say, inflammable gas, and this is
Yes.
used for as a fuel, right? Now comes eubacteria. After archaebacteria comes eubacteria. Now these are the truest form of bacteria. They have a proper cell wall present and they have a flagella. Flagella, wherever it is present, whether it is present in an organism or one cell, it provides motility, movement. Now, some of the eubacteria, they are photosynthetic autotrophs because they have chlorophyll A present in them. And since chlorophyll is present, so they can do photosynthesis. Now, those one such great example of you can say eubacteria is cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue-green algae. Why? Because it has the pigment present in it. Now, they can be unicellular, they can be colonial, as well as filamentous, just like because this is the basic characteristic of Monera in general. Now, their habitat, they can, like
There was
cyanobacteria.
more to it, right?
Hmm?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, nothing.
They are found in freshwater, meaning the ponds and the lakes. They are found in marine areas also, such as the seas and the oceans. And they are terrestrial as well, meaning they are found on the land as well. Now, there, the most important thing in them, if it is a colonial cyanobacteria, remember that their colonies are surrounded by gelatinous layer or sheath that is sort of like, it is mucilage type, mucus sheath is surrounding them. The greatest two or the most common examples of cyanobacteria or blue-green algae is nostoc and anemone. Now, why are they so important? Because they perform nitrogen fixation, which is extremely important. Nitrogen fixation. Now, their structure or their body structure, most particularly of nostoc, it is filamentous shaped body. So you can see that it is present in the form of filament, and all of the cells of the nostoc, like the body cells, are known as vegetative cells, but there is a specialized cell which is known as heterocyst. This
Which
heterocyst is,
allows the NO2 to be formed.
hmm, this is why they can fix the atmospheric
Nitrogen
nitrogen.
fixation.
Yes. Now, heterocyst has nitrogenase enzyme present in it. That is why it is able to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Now, talking about the chemosynthetic autotrophic mode of nutrition in the bacteria. So, here they use inorganic substances for making their own food. And what are those inorganic substances? They are nitrates, nitrites,
Nitrite and
ammonia,
oxides.
meaning all those elements. Okay. Now, the heterotrophic bacteria, majority of them are decomposers. They are most important for humans in such, like, there are some useful bacteria as well, such as the ones that help in making curd from milk, that is lactobacillus or lactic acid bacteria. They help in antibiotic production, such as streptomyces. Now, they help in nitrogen fixation in leguminous roots, like roots of leguminous plants, such as rhizobium. Now,
Ma'am,
major,
for cyanobacteria, they also do that ATP production also, right? After the energy is released.
yeah, that is for heterotrophic, sorry, chemosynthetic nutrition. Meaning once
Okay.
they make their food, they can also utilize these inorganic substances to form the ATP for energy
Okay.
purposes.
Ma'am, so cyanobacteria is autotrophic.
It is autotrophic. Yeah,
Okay.
cyanobacteria is autotrophic. Now, majority of bacteria, they cause diseases in humans and also in animals. Now, these are the list of diseases that are caused in humans. So we call them as bacterial diseases. And some of the diseases are caused in animals, such as anthrax and botulism. Now, reproduction in the case of bacteria, the main mode of reproduction is asexual type, that is fission. Binary fission is a very common thing that you have studied in class 10th also. So this happens during favorable conditions, meaning when all the space and material and everything is present to them. So their favorable mode of reproduction is fission, in which first the genetic material divides and then the cell divides, right? Now,
Yes.
yes, apart from that, during unfavorable conditions, the bacteria, they reproduce by spore formation. So there is endospore structure formed, and in that there are a lot of spores formed. And when those spores germinate, a new bacteria is formed. There is one method of sexual reproduction in the Monera, that is transduction, which is most commonly known as DNA transfer. Here, the primitive DNA transfer from one bacteria to another with the help of a virus that is known as bacteriophage. Bacteriophages are the bacteria infecting viruses. So with their help, we can transfer the genetic material from one bacteria to another. Then comes
Bacteria
the,
infecting viruses, right?
yes,
The bacteria which
bacteriophage.
infect.
Bacteriophages, yeah, they are the
Well,
bacteria infecting.
aren't they like virus and bacteria working together or something?
Hmm. Meaning, see, this is not a natural method. You cannot, like, bacteria does not do transduction on its own. We do it. So this is one mode of sexual reproduction. Why? Because DNA is being transferred. That is what
Yeah.
there is in sexual reproduction. But how are we doing it? So we need something, like, we cannot make the bacteria. There's no such mating and stuff in bacteria, right? So we
Yeah.
use viruses. So that we know that viruses, they do have a property of submitting their genetic material into another organism. That is their property. So that is why we use bacteriophages. Then comes mycoplasma. Now, mycoplasma, these are the organisms that lack the cell wall, just like archaebacteria, and they are the smallest living organism. They are really tiny, that is zero point 0.3 micrometer, and they have this property of surviving even without oxygen. So they are primarily anaerobic organism. And the greatest example is Mycoplasma gallisepticum. And this mycoplasma is of no use to anyone because it just causes diseases. And another thing, like just something extra and interesting, is that when you look at a mycoplasma under a microscope, you will find its shape to be sort of like a fried egg. It looks like that under the microscope. So they are also known as the jokers of the kingdom bacteria. Okay, they are the jokers. Now coming on to the next kingdom, that is kingdom Protista. Now the highlight of this particular kingdom is that all the organisms are single celled. They are unicellular, but they are eukaryotic organisms, meaning they have the nuclear membrane surrounding the nucleus, and they have the nuclear, like, membrane bound organelles. Now, they are further divided into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. Now, the basic or the general characteristics about kingdom Protista. So they are unicellular eukaryotes. They have membrane-bound nucleus and cell organelles. They are mostly aquatic. Some of them have flagella and cilia present in their body. Both asexual and sexual types of reproduction are there. And sexual reproduction takes place by fusion of the cell and then the zygote formation. The first one is chrysophytes, the first class of kingdom Protista. It contains diatoms and golden algae. Also, yes, one more thing. In that question paper, there was a question that says, why are diatoms known as the pearls of the ocean? Okay, so, yeah. So when I saw that, now for that time being, I thought you did, like, that was your test. So I thought that you would get confused on this. See, pearls of the ocean is referring to their silica cell wall only. The
Oh, okay.
diatomaceous earth that we have studied above,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
what it is referring, because
Okay.
their silica is usually white in color. So that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
why when the deposits of the diatoms are present under the ocean, like in the bottom or wherever, so it looks white, it gives a shiny white appearance. Not actually shiny, but white appearance, because of which they are known as the pearls of the ocean. So
Because
in
of
that
the
question,
silica. Right.
because of the presence of siliceous cell wall. Cell wall has silica. Their body does not have silica, only their cell wall. Okay. So yeah, so chrysophyte contains diatoms and golden algae. The habitat is fresh water or marine water, but they are aquatic. Size is microscopic and they float in the water currents. They can also be called as the planktons. Now, their mode of nutrition is photosynthesis, and they are autotrophic because they have certain pigments present. Talking about the diatoms, so their cell wall is made up of silica, which makes their cell wall indestructible. The cell wall looks like a soap box, that is, they have overlapping shells. They have the upper shell that is known as epitheca and the lower one is known as hypotheca. This is extra. This is not going to come. And they are known as the chief producers in the ocean. Why? See, they are known as chief producers. Why? Because they do photosynthesis. And producers are those organisms, just like plants. Plants are producers on the land. They make food for all of the organisms. Same way the diatoms do so in the water. Now there comes diatomaceous earth. And remember that diatoms, pearls of ocean. I didn't know this, but there's no other explanation. So pearls of ocean. There is nothing else that they do. There's nothing so special about them. So this is what is something unique about them. So because of the accumulation of the cell wall when they die, and since we know that the cell wall is made up of silica, so it will not get destructed for billions of years. So that causes the soil, whenever that causes the soil in the ocean, and that soil is very gritty. And because of being gritty, rough, it is used in polishing surfaces and also filtration of oils and syrups.
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah.
Now comes the dinoflagellates. The dinoflagellates, they are mostly marine and their body color depends on the pigment that is present in their cells. So they can be yellow in color, green in color, blue and red also. Their nutrition is again photosynthetic because they have light absorbing pigments present in them. And mostly we do not say that chlorophyll is the only pigment that is light absorbing. There are many other pigments also, but chlorophyll absorbs the most light. Okay. Now their cell wall contains stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Their
They
cell wall.
have chlorophyll.
Hmm.
Okay.
Some amount of chlorophyll is there. That
Ma'am,
is why
for
they
all
are photosynthetic.
yellow, blue, red also?
See, they have other pigments. Now, see, if the dinoflagellate is yellow in color, then the yellow pigment, which is mostly carotenoid, it is more dominant in their body. They also have chlorophyll, but the
Oh, okay.
dominant pigment decides their body color.
Okay.
Now, when the flagella is present, it is like two of the flagella are there. One is longitudinal and one is transverse. Depending upon the position, longitudinal is this,
It
transverse
goes
is this.
around the body of the
Hmm.
dinoflagellates.
Yeah, longitudinal is the this
Yeah.
thing vertical and transverse is this.
Yeah.
Now, most commonly appearing dinoflagellates are red dinoflagellates. The example is Goniolax and Gymnodium. The red dinoflagellates divide very rapidly and make the sea appear red in color. And this phenomena is known as red tides. I've shown you the picture if you remember.
Yeah.
And apart from that, they have this defense mechanism in their body, when meaning any predator would come along to, you can say, prey on them. So they will release certain toxins, and those toxins are known as saxitoxins. And these toxins can actually cause paralysis or neurological damage in the predator. So they are very harmful also.
Harmful for fishes.
Hmm. Now, coming on to the euglenoids. Now, euglenoids are most commonly known as the connecting link between plants and animals. Why? Because it shows two types of nutrition, autotrophic also and heterotrophic also. Habitat
Oh,
is
yeah, they're
fresh water.
autotrophs when the sun is there and heterotrophic when they're deprived of the
Exactly.
sunlight.
Exactly.
They act
And
as parasites.
hmm, and they do not have the cell wall present. Instead of that, they have a protein rich layer, which is known as pellicle
Pellicle.
present. Yeah, which makes their body very flexible. And always remember that they are found in stagnant water. They're not found in moving water. So you'll never find euglenoids in the
In
rivers
plantains.
and stuff. Yes. You'll not find it where the water is moving. You'll find it in the water that is pond water, where it is stagnant water is there. And remember that whichever organism has cell wall present, cell wall confers rigidity to the cell. Since they do not have the cell wall, that is why they are flexible. Now, the flagella is used for locomotion. They have two flagella, one is a short and one is a long flagella. Nutrition: in the presence of sunlight, they are autotrophic, and in the absence of sunlight, they are heterotrophic, mostly predators. Pigments are very similar to the ones that are found in higher plants, such as chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B is there in them. And the example is euglena. Coming on to slime
So,
molds.
what
Hmm?
is the example for dinoflagellates?
Oh,
It's
gymnodium and Golniolax.
Corneolax. Okay.
Yeah, these are the ones that cause the red tides.
Yeah.
Now, coming on to slime molds. Now, they are saprophytic, meaning they are decomposers. Their body moves along dead and decaying twigs and leaves and break it down for organic material. Now, during favorable conditions, they perform a large aggregation that is known as plasmodium. During unfavorable conditions, they divide and form these spores, and when these spores liberate, they give rise to the new organism. And these
In
spores
the
have
textbook, it was just written that the plasmodium differentiates
hmm,
and in under unfavorable conditions.
hmm,
So it means like they're dividing with.
yeah, yeah. Differentiates means they give rise to, like they divide and give rise to.
Okay.
And now the spores, they have the cell wall present, and spores are extreme because of the now again, since they have cell wall, it makes the cell rigid, makes the spore rigid, and since it becomes rigid, so now they are extremely resistant to survive the hard conditions. And the spores are dispersed by the air from one place to another, and wherever it germinates, a new slime mold is formed. Now coming on to protozoans. Now they are purely parasitic or predators. Now, they are believed to be the most primitive relatives of animals as they are heterotrophic and they are capable of locomotion. Now, this was back then when people just thought those organisms that can move, they are animals, that cannot move are plants. So, that is why they're like connecting it with animals. Now, four groups
Paramecium.
of
Like
hmm,
paramecium.
yeah,
Some.
paramecium is one of them. So four groups of protozoans are there: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and sporozoans. Amoeboid is the amoeba-like organism. They have, like, their habitat is mostly aquatic and they are also found in moist soil. They move and capture their prey with the help of their false
So,
feet, that is pseudopody. The greatest example is amoeba. And amoeba, they have silica present on their shells, the marine forms actually. And
okay.
amoeba causes this disease that is known as dysentery. The scientific name
No,
of the organism.
for example, they didn't give amoeba. For example, they give antamoeba
Yeah, entamoeba
as
is also the
yes.
example. Amoeba is also the example. Mostly entamoeba is the one that causes the disease that is dysentery, amoebiasis. Then comes flagellated protozoans. Now they have a flagella and their habitat is free living or parasitic. Mode of locomotion is with the help of flagella, and the example is trypanosoma, which causes the disease that is sleeping sickness. Then comes ciliated protozoans. Their body is surrounded with cilia, so their mode of locomotion is with the help of cilia. Now, the body cavity present is known as the gullet that opens outside the cell surface. And the greatest example is paramecium. The sporozoans, now, no special locomotory structures are present in their body. Spore-like infectious stage is present in their life cycle. Now, here, plasmodium is the example. Now, don't confuse this plasmodium with that plasmodium. This is the name of the organism, and that is the aggregation. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum. It is the genus name, Plasmodium. Okay, and this causes malaria. Then comes kingdom plantae. All the organisms are eukaryotic. All the
Now for
organisms are
plasmodium aggregates, it comes under the category of um what
slime
uh,
modes.
okay, same seeds.
Slime modes. For slime modes, that is when unfavorable conditions are there, they reproduce by an aggregation. That aggregation means what? A
No, under
collection of.
favorable conditions, they produce by an aggregation. Under unfavorable conditions, they
They form
do
spores.
by
Yeah.
divide.
Yes. Yes, yes. So that aggregation is Plasmodium there, but here Plasmodium is the name of the genus.
Okay.
Okay. There are many species such as Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum. There are many species. Now coming on to kingdom Plantae, and we know that all the organisms here are photosynthetic, but again, will it be biology without any exception? Nope. So there are few members that are not autotrophic, they are heterotrophic, such as the insectivorous plants, that is bladderwort, and parasitic plants such as the cuscuta. So they are present on, like Cuscuta being a parasitic plant, it is present on top of the body of other plant and derives the nutrition. Bladderwort and Venus flytraps, they eat, like not actually eat, but they digest the
Yeah,
insects.
obviously.
Yeah.
They
Then
have
comes,
some kind of like a juice inside them, right? Where
hmm,
they take the insects inside.
yes, yes, they
I
do.
have a
And all,
question. So
hmm,
after taking it in, do they like digest it or something, or they just how do they like remove it out, or
I think whatever component which is there in the insect, which the plant requires, once
yeah,
taking that enzyme or thing, it throws it out
throws it
because
out?
insect,
Okay.
yeah, it is of no use to the plants. They do not have structures like how we have a digestive system and everything. Now
Okay.
coming on to the divisions of the plant kingdom, starting from the most primitive to the most advanced, we have algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Coming on to the kingdom fungi. All are heterotrophic organisms here. None of them are autotrophic. They cannot make their own food. The fungi on the moist bread, the mushrooms, the toadstools, all of these are the examples of fungi. And then there are some fungi that cause diseases also, such as white spots on mustard seeds that are caused by the mustard seeds, I'm saying mustard leaves, that is caused by parasitic fungus. Now, all the member of this particular kingdom are multicellular except for one, that is yeast.
Yes.
Saccharomyces is unicellular. Rest all are filamentous and multicellular. The habitats, they are cosmopolitan, meaning they occur every single where. They're found in most of the places. Now, they prefer warm and humid places. Now, remember one thing, that since they are cosmopolitan, there is a reason why they are cosmopolitan. Is because their cell wall is made up of what?
Chitin,
Chitin. Chitin.
chitin. Sorry,
Yes. So their cell wall is made up of chitin, and that
chitin and
chitin,
polysaccharides.
yeah, and it is really, really resistant. Very resistant. That is why they are found everywhere. They're not destroyed anywhere. Now they prefer warm and humid places
Ma'am,
for
I
their
have
growth.
a, I have a doubt. So they have even fungi have like chitin and polysaccharides, which are very strong, right? But even diatoms, they also have a very strong cell wall structure, but their cell wall structure is like more stronger than fungi, right? Because they are present even after so many years and they're collected under the sea bed. So
Hmm.
they're more stronger than the fungi.
Hmm. But there is no comparison because it has never
Okay.
been compared as to which one is stronger or not. But yeah, you can say that since it persists for such a long period of time. So yeah, you can say that it is more resistant. It has silica in it.
Yeah.
Now, the body of the fungus, it is long, it is slender, meaning thin, and it is thread-like. It is made up of a thread-like structure called as the hyphae. And when these
Oh,
hyphae,
I had a doubt. I had a doubt. I remember now. In the mycelium, in mycelium, right? Are they like septate or aseptate?
which one?
Mycelium, right? They're a network of hyphae, correct? So
Mm,
is it like septate or is it aseptate? Like,
it depends. It depends on the class of fungus. It depends from
okay,
fungi
okay.
to fungi, right? Some of them have aseptate, some of them have septate. It depends, it varies. Now, what happened?
No, because my teacher, she told it's aseptate. My mother, she told it's septate. So I was like, what? It's aseptate and it's septate. How is that possible? Like, both the characters for mycelium. Like, how is, first of all, I thought mycelium is a whole different organism of fungi, which is under fungi.
No, 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 no. See, depending upon the class of fungi that it belongs, it can be aseptate or septate. There is like, if you just say, ma'am, mycelium, is it aseptate? No, I can't say. Tell me which one are you talking about? Then we'll say, right? Your mother is also a biology teacher.
She's a doctor.
Oh, she's a doctor. Okay. All right. Now, the trough of hyphae is known as the mycelium. Now, some hyphae are continuous with multinucleated cytoplasm. So, they are cenocytic hyphae, meaning they do not have the cross walls present. And the ones that have the cross walls present, They are a complete different thing. Now, the cell wall of fungi, it is made up of
Oh,
chitin.
one more doubt. Sorry, one more doubt. I have so many
Hmm?
doubts. Okay.
Hmm?
So for sinocytic hyphae, they are aseptate, right? No cell wall. So they are aseptate.
Cenocytic, yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
They're only aseptate. They're not septate.
Yes, they are aseptate. Because of being aseptate, they are known as cenocytic,
Okay.
right? Because the walls are not present, so they have
Yeah.
multiple nuclei present in one hyphae only without any division or compartmentalization. That is why they're cenocytic. So
Yeah.
all those hyphae that are cenocytic will 100% be aseptate,
Yes.
right? And all those
Yeah.
hyphae that are not cenocytic, they will be septate.
They're aseptate.
Hmm. Okay, so their cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharide. The mode of nutrition is saprophytic, parasitic, and symbiotic. Now, symbiotic, see here, as I told you, when we study about them, we mention lichen, and mycorrhiza is again another that kind of relationship. But lichen is a symbiotic relationship of fungus and algae, and mycorrhiza is a symbiotic relationship of a fungus and the roots of higher plants. Talking about reproduction, so they do vegetative, asexual, and sexual. Talking about the vegetative reproduction, there is fragmentation, budding, and fission. Now, fragmentation is one, like their body actually splits into certain fragments. Each of those fragments grow into a new fungus. Then budding, bud is an outgrowth that grows on the parent's body like mother cell, and then it detaches and grows into a new fungi. Lastly, there is fission, just like how binary fission was there, but it is known as fission here, wherein first the genetic material divides and then the cell divides. Then comes the asexual reproduction that takes place with the help of asexual spores. Some of the asexual spores are conidia, which is an exospore. Exospore means present outside, like it's made outside, not inside the body. Sporangiospores are the ones that are made inside, so they are
Yes.
endospores. Then there is zoospores that are also endospores. Talking about the sexual reproduction, so it takes place with the help of sexual spores. The spores are produced in fruiting bodies, and some of the sexual spores are oospores, basidiospores, and ascospores. Now, sexual cycle takes place in three steps: plasmogamy, karyogamy, and then meiosis of zygote. Plasmogamy means fusion. So the fusion of plasma is plasmogamy, plasma or protoplast or cytoplasm. And then the fusion of karyon. Karyon means nucleus. So the
Okay.
fusion of nucleus is karyogamy. And then reductional division, that is meiosis, that takes place in the zygote to form haploid spores. Hmm? Now, why reductional division? I hope you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now, during the process of sexual reproduction, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating type, they come together and they fuse. Now, there are some organisms, such as in the case of Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, there comes a stage which is known as dikaryophase, which comes after the plasmogamy, in which one hypha has two nuclei present. Yeah, and then it persists for a little period of time, and then the
Has
karyogamy takes place. Hmm?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the karyogamy takes place, and then a diploid zygote is formed. And this zygote, it undergoes meiosis to form spores. And when these spores liberate, they give rise to the
They're
organism.
haploid.
The,
They become haploid
the
afterwards.
spores are haploid, yes.
So,
And
ma'am,
then the plant,
basically this happens in the third step, right?
which part? Meiosis?
Can you just can no no no? Can you just go up? I just want to ask something. Um, for yeah, meiosis of zygote to form haploid spores, the last step, right? After
The
dikaryophase,
nuclei fuse, yeah.
the nuclei fuse, so
Hmm.
they become karyogamy, and then
No, they do
uh,
not become
I
karyogamy.
mean they go
Karyogamy
under
took
the
place.
yeah
Huh.
karyogamy, and
Hmm.
then they go for meiosis of zygote, and then they form diploid spores, and then after some time it becomes haploid spores.
No. Karyogamy takes place, meaning the two nuclei that were there, they fused. Now,
Yes.
when they fused, a diploid zygote is formed. Then this
Mm.
diploid zygote undergoes meiosis and it forms haploid spores.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, the fungi is divided into 4 classes. And what are the basis for division? So it is the morphology of the mycelium, the mode of spore formation, and the fruiting bodies which is present in them. The fungi has been divided into Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. We
Now
don't
we
have to
can skip
discuss the
this.
classes, right?
No.
Yeah. Also, one more thing. This phycomycetes, like I wanted to go in depth, but I didn't go. Like for this particular thing, the phycomycetes is further divided into zygomycetes and oomycetes. But again, I have not taught that. So just remember it as phycomycetes.
Zygomycetes will be asexual and oomycetes will be asexual.
Yeah, it is a different form. It is depending upon their mode of nutrition and everything that comes along.
Oh.
Okay. So now we can skip this. Thank God it's not coming, because I was so not ready to discuss this. All right. So then the virus, viroids, prions, and lichens. Shall I discuss it again?
Mhm.
Huh?
I would like that.
Oh, but
No
wait.
problem.
Kingdom Animalia is left.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Plantain, Kingdom Aluminia also.
Kingdom Animalia Plantae we've discussed. Now talking about the Kingdom Animalia. So in the Kingdom Animalia, they are all heterotrophic organisms. They cannot make their own food. They are eukaryotes. All of them are multicellular. Cell wall is absent in them. The biggest thing. Cell wall is not present. The reserve food material in the case of animals is glycogen. Most of the organisms, like the higher organisms of kingdom Animalia, they have a holozoic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition is that mode of nutrition in which the food
They
is procured as a whole.
ingest inside.
Yes, and then it is digested in the body. They are motile, and then sexual reproduction is present. It is the most dominant thing. Asexual becomes less and less dominant, and sexual reproduction becomes more dominant. Clear?
Now, I have a question in Kingdom Plantain. One second.
Hmm.
Mm, For Kingdom Plantain, they have given this thing. Um, the lengths of the haploid and diploid phases and whether these phases are free living or dependent on others vary among different groups and plants. This phenomenon is called alternation of generation. This will not
Hmm.
come, right? For
No, this
example.
will not come. This part has been deleted. And even so, this part is not there in this particular chapter. It is there in Plant Kingdom chapter. And this part,
Yeah,
whole entire
they
part has
have
been
told
deleted.
yeah, they have told you will study further details of this kingdom in chapter 3. Now, I just
Hmm.
wanted to ask, they won't ask, right? They like
No,
not
they
give
won't. They won't.
answers.
This part has been deleted.
Okay.
Now, viruses, viroids, prions, and lichens, these are the organisms that have not been given any place because they are not truly the organisms that we want them to be. Viruses are not truly living, they are non-cellular organisms. Okay, only 5 minutes are left for the class to get over. So they have inert crystalline structure outside the living cell, meaning they are dead outside. Inert means it does not react with anything. Just 1 second. I just dropped my pen. Yes. So, yeah. So they are inert, meaning they do not react with anything. They can be crystallized, meaning made into a crystal. And apart from that, they become living as soon as they enter the body of the host. They take over the machinery of the host and then they kill the host. But not all the viruses kill the host. Okay, there is lytic virus and there is lysogenic virus. Again, so not your syllabus thingy, but there are like, don't also when you write about viruses, please don't mention that some of them kill and some of them don't. Please don't.
Okay.
Okay, just mention that they kill the host. Now, the viruses, the name has been derived from venom. Venom means poisonous, and this name was given by Dmitry Ivanovsky. Now, from here on, all those scientists' names are very important. He observed that there were some microbes that caused tobacco mosaic disease, and these microbes were even smaller than the bacteria. Why? Because they were able to pass through the bacterial filters. Then came another scientist who was M.W. Bajering, and he demonstrated that this, like once we take out the extract from the infected tobacco plant and we put it in the healthy tobacco plant, it caused the disease in that plant also. So he said that, okay, this, whatever it is contagious, it is infectious. So he called this fluid as the contagium vivum fluidum, which means infectious living fluid. Then came W.M. Stanley in the year 1935, and he showed that these viruses could be crystallized, and those crystals would largely contain of proteins because they have a protein coat surrounding their body. Talking,
Ma'am,
if
I have
anyone,
one stupid question.
hmm, go
Okay.
on. Hmm,
So we have seen in most of the cases that viruses, viroids, and then other bacteria, etc., have proteins, right? So humans could use the proteins for
humans could use
taking.
the proteins.
Yeah, they could use
Huh,
the proteins because it's proteins, right?
huh. So
So
what will humans do with the protein?
they could take it in like in their body or something. I don't know.
No, no.
But
See,
they are
the
proteins.
yeah, they are definitely proteins, but the main thing is that when the viruses they enter the body of the organism or the host, their protein is useless. And
Oh,
if
no,
let's
no,
just
no, no.
say that,
I'm telling, see. No, no, no. I'm telling, like,
oh,
if the
you're saying that
organism,
we can use the proteins for our benefit, just like how we use
yeah, yeah,
bacteria and stuff for our
yeah,
benefit.
yes, yes.
No, we can't do that. And mostly, yeah, one more thing, vaccinations. Vaccinations that are provided, yes, these proteins are of use actually. Good question. It's not a
Oh,
silly
okay.
question. They are of use. Like the viruses, like coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So, what happens in those viruses? These viruses, I'm saying, in those vaccinations, these viruses, they are heat killed or they are attenuated, meaning they are made weakened. Their
Okay.
parasitic property has been taken from them and their protein thing is left. Now, once they are
Oh,
injected inside the body of the organism, for example, us humans, now we have a foreign protein in our body. Hmm?
yeah.
Now, that protein is a foreign particle, and our body starts preparing antibodies for that protein, meaning certain, you can say, proteins to kill the foreign protein. Okay. This
So
is
we don't
like,
use
this
the
is,
protein though, but we use it as an advantage for like our own like
yeah, yeah,
well-being.
we do.
Okay.
The viruses are weakened or killed, and then they are provided to the humans as vaccinations. And on, like, with the like, to the response for that vaccination, our body prepares antibodies. And
Okay.
now when really the virus comes, the ones that is actually infecting us, for example, people took COVID vaccine, and now
Yeah.
if let's just say someone had COVID, now they had the coronavirus in their body, now their body already has the antibodies made for them, so the body starts attacking
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
This is the basis of vaccination. So yes, very good question. The proteins are actually used. Humans are so intelligent. We can use anything and everything to our benefit. Now, viruses, don't ever forget that they are obligate parasites, meaning they do not have any other way to live. They will live as a parasite or else they won't. The body of the viruses contains the proteins and it contains the genetic material. The envelope of protein which is surrounding their body is known as a capsid, and these capsids are made up of capsomeres, that are the smaller units. Now, they are either arranged helically or they are arranged polyhedral, in a polyhedral way, to make a capsid. Now, talking about their genetic material, so they can have RNA or they can have DNA. Now, if they have RNA, their RNA can be single stranded or double stranded. The DNA can also be single stranded or double stranded, but they will have only one of them. Either they will have RNA or they will have DNA. This is for every organism, every single one. The plant viruses, they contain single stranded RNA. The viruses that infect the animals, they contain single stranded RNA or double
Okay.
stranded RNA or double stranded DNA. The bacterial viruses, that are the bacteriophages, they contain double stranded DNA and they cause many diseases
Ma'am,
in
so
humans.
when they're outside the host body, they are RNA. When they're inside the host body, they are DNA for
No,
animals.
no. When they come inside the body of the host, they are also RNA at that time also. But then what they do, with the help of an enzyme that they have, they convert their RNA into DNA. So they
Conversion of
convert,
DNA.
convert the viral RNA into viral DNA, and then that viral DNA incorporates into our DNA and makes us synthesize viral DNA instead of human
Okay.
DNA. Okay. So with this, we have actually completed, and then these are the things that I've taught you today only. So this whole chapter is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
Mhm.
All right. So all the best for your test tomorrow. Do tell me how it goes. Do send the question paper. Okay.
Please don't be
Yeah.
disappointed if I get low marks.
What?
Accepted. Please do not be disappointed if I get low
I won't.
marks.
You won't. I won't be disappointed because you won't be getting low marks. Your concepts are clear. Just please don't make silly mistakes. And don't overthink while you're answering. When a person overthinks, then it is done. Don't overthink. Because in biology, it's all fact, right? Every single thing is a fact. There is no story in biology. So the thing that you remembers as soon as you see the question is the right thing. Now, if you think more, then that becomes wrong. So don't think a lot. Think a little,
Mm,
but not a lot. Okay. So
okay.
yeah. So let's just keep it till here only for today. All the best for tomorrow.